Hello and welcome to episode number 6 of the official Layers podcast overlay. I'm the founder of Layers, Liam McCabe.
And I'm Reijo, a designer and illustrator.
Just before we get started, if you're looking to support Layers or the Overlay podcast, then you can join Layers Plus today and gain access to additional features such as analytics, scheduling, profile customization, and more. Overlay listeners can also get a 10% discount off their annual plan using the code OVERLAY10. And now on with the show. How's it going, Ray? What have you been doing? Had a good couple of weeks? How long has it been? It's a couple of weeks, right?
A couple of weeks, I think so. Yeah, I've been good. I've been getting through a bit of burnout. I feel like I'm much better now.
Oh
But
no! Have you actually burnt out, or you almost burnt out?
I feel like I caught it like at the tail end, like just before uh it got really bad. I feel like I realized it at the right time. Or well, I should have realized much earlier, but I feel like I managed to mitigate some of the damage, I feel.
But that sounds good though. It seems like the thing that people most say that you should try and do is be aware. So you were clearly aware of it happening, and you realized just before
Yes.
it came
Yes.
crumbling.
Yeah. But like I feel like the realization came, but the realization came a little too late, and at a moment where I had the like whether I realized it or not, it didn't matter. Like I still had stuff to do, so it was
Mm.
I didn't have the option to not to sort of drop everything immediately at once. So how about you? Have you dealt
Uh,
with burnout?
yeah, you dropped out for a sec there, but
Oh
it should
no,
be fine.
am I back?
It should be fine. Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Um, I think I have a couple of times, 2 or 3 times in the
Yeah.
past with some rather big client projects that we had at Code and Wonder, and it was usually just me
Yeah.
doing almost everything.
Yeah.
Similar to layers, so like designing, building,
Yeah.
um, and deadlines were usually very tight. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, as projects go on, as code bases grow, it can become very tricky, especially
Mm-hmm.
with things that you don't necessarily anticipate. Especially with code, you run into bugs or issues that you've just never experienced before, and you don't necessarily know why they're happening. And
Yeah.
it's like, how the hell do I fix this? It's going to take time just to research how to fix it, right? And you don't
Yes.
necessarily quote for that time.
Yes.
A lot of times we couldn't quote for that, like that contingency time, because um yeah, a lot of clients would have like smallish budgets. A lot of the
Mm-hmm.
times they might be founders or just people with an idea, so rather than big corporations with these big budgets. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this would be a great fun project, but yeah, the budget would be tight, so that just
Yeah.
puts a strain on everything else. um and yeah,
Hmm.
I guess I have got very close, like yourself. I wouldn't say I have burnt out, because I think, to me, that feels like just completely losing it. Like you can't get up in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
but I have
But
experienced the constant brain fog stress. Well, this is burnout to me anyway. I've
yeah.
experienced the constant brain fog, the stress. You're like, I can't do this. The lack of uh hope and despair creeping in. You're like, holy shit, this is too much. What is it to you?
That's a good question. Um, I feel like it's difficult. Like it doesn't take away my it doesn't take away my sort of the joy to make things or to create things. That's still there. because I still want to, even though I feel really shit, I still want to make things. But it just slows every part of the process down a lot. Like even just communicating with people slows down a lot. Like I have to
Yeah.
deeply think about just fucking work myself up to answer emails. Just everything slows down a lot. Like everything complicated sort of gets much more complicated. I still want to make, but it's more of an uphill battle. But I feel like if I and I don't know how to predict it. I feel like I'm gonna keep stepping into the same trap in some way. I'll just get better at recognizing it, I feel, and or like
Yeah.
realizing it at the more opportune time to say, hey, maybe I should, take the foot off the gas for a second.
Yeah, I think yeah, the more you get closer to it, yeah, the more you can anticipate it. But yeah, you have a little inkling. It's like, oh, this is getting a bit much right now.
Yeah,
I need to make some changes.
yeah, and not even like not even just you realizing within yourself that shit, I might be burning out. You might even realize some patterns that you're doing beforehand that you know will lead to burnout, but you're still doing them, and then you
Mm,
realize well, if I'm doing this many projects at the same time with this tight of a deadline, that led to burnout before. I don't think
yes.
the result is gonna be different this time.
Yeah. Even though you think you're like, oh yeah, I can do this. Nah,
Yeah,
it's
I
all
can
right.
do it.
Fine, it's
It'll
fine.
be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
There's a little
It
voice
will
in the
be.
side of your head that is like, Rayo, don't you remember last year, and the year before that, and the year before
Yeah,
that?
yeah. It'll be fine this time.
I also get in like a cyclical negativity state where like I just can't figure out how to fix something, and I'm like, you just can't do it, Liam. You're never going to be able to do it. You can't fix this, and it's like this constant. It's just adding to the battle. You're like,
Yeah,
oh, this negativity in my head isn't helping me solve this
yeah,
problem.
yeah,
But
yeah. 100%.
I think I tell you what did actually solve a lot of that is
Yeah.
I did start going. Well, it's just basic things, really. Just exercising a bit more and trying to
Yes.
eat better.
Yes.
Exercising definitely, because I go to the gym at lunchtime now, and that definitely helps clear
Yeah.
my head a little.
Yeah.
I feel like it just adds a bit more oxygen to the brain,
Yeah.
makes the
Yeah.
brain function a little bit more, and like
Yeah.
gives me a step back.
I
So I
feel
guess
like. Yeah.
whatever that is to anyone else, once you
Yeah.
discover that,
Yeah.
yeah, make use of it.
100%. I feel like I'm not. I used to be a morning person. I'm not a morning person anymore. I'd like to be a morning person again, but that's a different topic. I feel like um, I go to the gym like two to three times a week, and I
Mm,
always go with a personal trainer early in the morning
mm,
because I know, like I've made this deal with the personal trainer. She's gonna be there like 8 o'clock. Like I have no way of getting out of this unless
right.
I'm almost dead. There's no way I'm avoiding this. So that's been like a linchpin in my schedule of trying to keep things on track in
Mm,
general, like feeling my life is going in the right direction in general, just to have that, like, that
that
one.
routine,
Yeah, that
that
I cannot avoid.
accountability.
Yeah, because if I didn't have a personal trainer to meet up with, I would probably argue with myself like 50% of the time. So I'll do it later.
Yeah,
Like I know how that goes, so I
I
need
think
that.
a lot of the time it is just the accountability, right? Like
Yeah,
having an extra person keeping track on you, motivating
yeah,
you, or trying to
yeah,
motivate you, discipline you.
yeah, yeah.
That's
So
why I
and
like at the gym. I don't necessarily do free weights a lot. I do these classes. so you're kind
Oh
of
yeah,
surrounded by other people, which does really motivate me. And the classes themselves are obviously
yeah,
planned as well. Like
yeah,
if I
yeah, yeah,
was, even if I was given the same plan,
yeah,
I probably wouldn't do it as well as when I'm in the class,
yeah,
because when you're in the class, you're surrounded by people who are they're not slowing down, they're not taking
yeah,
short breaks, they're
yeah,
just doing it. Whereas if I was
yeah,
doing
yeah,
it on my own, I'd be like taking longer breaks each time, and I'd
yeah.
be like, oh, I'll do less.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I understand what you mean, but I've like every time, not every time, but sometimes in the morning when I go to the gym, there's the gym I frequent. There's the gym part of it, and there's like the classes part of it, right? And
Mm,
sometimes there's a class ongoing or multiple classes ongoing when I get to the gym,
yeah.
and I don't even have to walk in the door. Like I can hear it from across the gym and feel like this is like an assault on my senses. Like I don't feel I'm barely awake. Like this is the exact opposite of what I want. People screaming, super loud music. Like holy
Yeah,
shit.
I understand that. There are classes at my gym that start at like 6 or whatever,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
and there's
if I was to do my class at 6, I'd be the same. I'd be like, turn it down, stop shouting at me, Jesus.
right, right, right,
But
and
some people,
they're
like you
full of
say,
people.
are just morning people, and they can get up at like 5 or 6.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
I do envy those people though, because I
right,
do really like the mornings when I do wake up early, because
right. I love it.
it's so quiet, it's so peaceful. You feel
Yeah,
like you've got uh, a certain clarity, a certain
yeah,
space
yeah.
to
I feel
get
like
stuff
I
done,
feel like
whatever it needs to be. That yeah,
uh
those
what
three
like you can
four
do a lot
hours
of good
or
work.
whatever.
Yeah, I feel like you can do a lot of good work in the mornings or in the evenings, but I feel like mornings have that sort of uh, naive promise to them, like the day is still ahead of you. You know, you just
Mm,
generally feel more optimistic about it. I
yeah.
like mornings more, even though I don't wake up too early.
Especially if the weather is good. Which a lot of the times,
Yes.
even in England, the weather can be better in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, maybe it's a I don't know what it. Don't know why.
It's a
Maybe
temperature thing then.
maybe a pressure thing. But it's usually
Yeah.
a bit clearer. It's a bit sunnier.
Ah.
Um, but anyway, I was thinking. Well, we normally have a brief agenda, and we usually talk about layers for a bit. The past few episodes, we've had a guest. We've had Tatiana on, which have been great.
Yep.
Talked about a lot of things.
Yep.
And in the second part two, we addressed a lot of issues with existing design communities that we're basically trying to address with layers, which is good. So you
Yep.
should check those out. But in the meantime, what has been happening with layers? Well, I was basically looking at the deploy history, and it had been like 2 months since I deployed anything, and I was trying to work out what the hell I've been doing. Because usually I'm working on something, I'm building something, and deploying, and I think it was basically I was doing more like businessy type stuff. I think I
Yeah.
must have been perhaps selling ads or just doing support, that type of stuff. Because there's quite a few ads on the platform at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe it's also support. Like I get more and more emails as every other month,
Yeah.
asking with issues with their accounts or just asking about things.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's I mean, the past week or two, I've started looking for a bit of cash, a bit of funding.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also taking up my time, um, business wise, legal wise,
Yeah. Yeah.
social wise.
Yeah.
Because I was unsure about actually doing it, but I put out put out a little tweet. I did it. Oh, well, we did. Yeah, did an April Fool's saying we
Yeah,
sold to Adobe,
yeah.
which I feel like half the people believed it and half the people didn't.
I this is yeah. I feel like people who are in the layers community, at least in some way, either they have an account or they're in the Discord or they've been frequenting the platform, they
Mm.
wouldn't believe it. However, people who are still in the design communities and are aware of layers, they are probably more susceptible to believing it. I think it's a ridiculous claim, uh, but
Whoa, whoa,
I
whoa!
think
It's not that ridiculous, Rare. Come on, it's possible.
given the way given the history of acquisitions that Adobe has made or tried to make, it's not that outlandish either. So it's like
But
it's a believable lie that somebody showed up with a fat check and you were like, ah, okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. Layers is still very small. I think
Yeah,
it'd be very unlikely for anything like that to happen. Although I think maybe there have been a couple of potential acquisition offers in the past. Yeah, I can think of one,
yeah,
which was probably just buying Layers outright, and then there was another one which was more of like a partnership to kind of like start it again, almost rebuild it from scratch, start a new company.
yeah,
But yeah, it was quite fun. It was quite fun seeing people believe it, basically. But also kind of validating because it suggests that yeah, that's I could believe that. It's
that
it's
is
it's
true.
on the it's on a trajectory where it seems to be delivering, and
Yeah.
so
That is true.
some people think that the bigger companies would be interested.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But let's play the devil's advocate here for 5 more minutes. What do you think they would change if they would buy Layers? Like, what do you think would happen to the product?
uh, yeah, interesting question. What would they do? Don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they'd merge it into Behance, right? Why would they?
Yeah, that
Would they
was
want
my that's my bet as well. They'd either kill it or merge it to Behance, I think, just to clear the way from any competition.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. You could just kill it. Although I'm not sure. I mean, not that it matters, but I'm not sure how frowned upon that would be. But you can just say you're hiring the company and you're bringing on the team,
Yeah, yeah,
and then not do anything. Right? The
yeah,
press is there, but then
yeah,
you just kill it.
yeah, yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
that happens all the time, right?
yeah, exactly.
We're just destroying the competition by acquiring them or hiring them.
Yeah,
We're merging
yeah,
everyone in. Honest.
right. Yeah. So
um, but yeah, how did we get onto that? April Fools.
yeah.
What were we discussing? I was going to say something before April Fools was what's with Layers? We did the April
Well,
Fools.
yeah. You did that. You had the feedback session.
Yeah, it still wasn't that, but maybe it will come to me, and I'll bring it up later. But yeah, we had a feedback session yesterday, which has been in the pipeline for a while. Like I've been talking to one of our amazing advertisers, Significa, for a while now about things, how we can collaborate and partner and stuff like that. And one of them was a feedback session. They could offer their services as experienced agency.
Yeah.
They got lots of amazing designers, and the designers, when they've got a bit of time, they can just leave some feedback on Layers, specifically in the work in progress hub. So yeah, I thought it would be a good way of trying to encourage feedback, collaborate with companies in the community, and provide some value from both our sides. Basically, Layers providing the platform, Significa providing the feedback.
Nice.
And actually managed to time it with the relaunch of annotations.
Yes.
So back in the day, I did actually launch annotations for Layers, and then for whatever reason, I had to remove them temporarily, let's say.
A bundle back.
Although it's been a while. But now they are back. Yeah, so they work similarly to a lot of design tools, how you'd expect, Figma, Sketch.
Yeah.
So it basically just means it's easier to leave feedback because it adds immediate context, right? So especially for these feedback sessions, like it becomes a bit silly if you have to describe what you're giving feedback on, right? Like, the button in the top right next to the other button, make that red. So you no longer have to describe it. You can just click on the layer, annotate it, leave the comment like that.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered why the other platforms haven't necessarily done that. But I'm glad it's back, and I think the initial test with Significa went really well. It was a very early implementation, but I think they still managed to leave quite a few comments and annotations. It seems to work nicely, which I'm very pleased about, really, because
you tend to like with the product hunt. This reminds me of the quick upgrade you made during the product hunt launch as well. You tend to want to have an event and then make it more interesting for yourself by deploying something new or breaking something or doing something interesting with it while there's a lot of attention on the platform at the same time.
That is great planning there, right, bro? adding more pressure. Yes, great idea then.
Well, I think some people work well under pressure.
Yeah, I think I partly do. I do like tying like a feature launch with some sort of event because it just gives me a deadline, right? Especially with this feedback session. I think I delayed it once, but then this time it obviously went ahead. But I had it in my mind that I wanted annotations live for this feedback session, and I'm glad I did because it basically just motivated me to get it done, right? It can be quite difficult to sometimes self-motivate on specific things. I have no issue with motivation on the entire platform because I've just got so many ideas, but actually finishing a specific feature can be sometimes difficult. I might look at another feature or something like that, especially bugs. If I'm looking at a bug and I can't fix it, I'm like, I'm going to build a colors feature. But yeah, the annotations went live. Super pleased. Still work in progress. There's still a few UX things I need to fix. But super happy with it. And I'm hoping it can add a lot to the work in progress hub. Just need to make it clearer that you can do it, I think. In the previous implementation, there was a way to toggle the annotations so they don't cover the whole image. So I just need to add a toggle there. And I imagine if I add that somewhere near the add a comment input, it should make it somewhat clear that they exist, right? People just toggle them on and off just to see what they are, or they'll click on one of the images in the comments and that will turn them on. But yeah, I think super happy with them. Hope everyone else's, and I hope they get used. The other thing, though, it probably doesn't necessarily apply to a lot of the stuff you post, because you post videos. But I was thinking it should be possible. If I just browsing your profile now, but I was thinking how they would work for videos. Basically, when you click, it would pause the video and record the timestamp.
That would be extremely helpful.
So when it comes to review, or if someone leaves an annotation on a video, you click on the comment or the image in the comment, it will go to the frame where that comment was left.
Yeah.
Which would be cool, no? And then you can maybe add a little a little what's it called at the bottom? A time a seeker. What is it called?
Scrubber, you mean,
like a scrubber, yeah. So you can see where all the annotations are and just click in between them.
Timeline. This is relevant to an Adobe again, because I used to use an Adobe. Well, it wasn't an Adobe product then, but Adobe acquired a product called Frame.io, that's what it does. Is like a
recently
review.
Launched a version 4.
Yeah, like a what do you call it? Like a collaboration feedback sort of video tool where you can upload material and you can have a detailed way to leave feedback on it. So and that has been extremely helpful, when dealing with video. So having that sort of feedback option on layers would be pretty cool as well.
How do you usually get your feedback from clients at the moment? What's your process?
I just send them the asset on Slack.
And that works?
That works. Yeah. Well, I run into very detailed, granular feedback very rarely. Like there have been instances where it's like they're only talking about, like, the feedback is talking about like maybe 3 frames out of all of and out of the entire animation, but that happens extremely rarely.
Right. And at those times, it's presumably not difficult to describe it. Yeah.
They take screenshots of the animation. Yeah.
Cool. Well, it's just like one of those things that I'll implement just because I want to implement, because it's going to be fun. And
it'll be a leg up.
If people use it, that'd be cool. That'd be even cooler. It'll definitely be a nice feature to show off, I think.
Yeah,
and I think it's not too difficult to implement either, right? It
Famous
should be
last words.
2 months later, episode 10 overlay. I've almost done it.
Yeah, because I don't know how. For example, if I were to upload like 4K footage or above that, would that make it more, like, performance-wise? Would it make it significantly more, like, laggier or perform much worse? That particular feature.
I don't think so, because it's not really interrupting anything, right? It's only running a bit of code when you click, so it's almost like you're just pausing the video, right? Like any video.
Okay.
You're clicking on the pause button, but at the same time you're pausing it, it's showing the annotation thing, and then you're just leaving your annotation, and then I don't know, when you finish your annotation, maybe it keeps playing. I don't know what the expected UX might be there, but I can play around.
Yeah, I think there's options.
So yeah, there's annotations. Oh, was it funding that I was necessarily going to talk about? Maybe it was funding.
We touched on funding. Yeah. You were talking about funding for a brief minute.
That was before April.
And Supernode's competition closed as well.
Yes, we also had the first competition close
Mm-hmm.
or end. So yeah, did a little competition with my friend Tobias from Supernotes, which was fun.
It had a
Just
lot of
looking at it
entries.
now. Sorry. Yeah, I had quite a few entries. Went on for about a month or so, maybe a month and a week. Basically, you just had to, if you wanted to enter, they were looking for alternative app icons for the product Supernotes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it did have quite a few entries, at least 40 or so, I think. Yeah, and winners received some cash, some Layers Plus subscriptions, stuff like that. Yeah, so we may do more in the future. Still undecided on that fact, but yeah, I think it was a success overall.
Yeah.
Similar to competitions, though, I'm really keen to start doing challenges, which could be themed, but
Yeah.
personally, I want to do like a 30-day challenge.
Yeah.
Like I mean, a lot of people have been doing these for years, basically, like a
Yeah.
daily UI challenge.
Yeah.
But I was thinking if there was an official layers one, that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like a 30-day layers, 30-day daily challenge. I was going to say UI, but it doesn't have to be UI. It could be anything. I mean, you post pretty much daily, right, Red? Don't you? Or you try to do a
That's
daily
true.
thing on Twitter, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then potentially there could be a prize if you don't break the streak.
Well, yeah, but
Well, maybe not,
it's
or just do it for the sake of doing it. Don't need a prize. Scrap the
yeah.
prize.
Yeah. That like because it'll be very difficult to like how do you implement measuring like what do you measure there in the challenge? The streak, that's super easy to do. Just post anything.
Yep.
The content of it, that's more like it's very subjective very quickly.
Yeah. I think the only reason I said prize because I think it was Typefully maybe. Have you heard of Typefully?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did a 30-day challenge, and then at the end of it, they gave away some free subscriptions, maybe.
No, really?
I'm not sure, but regardless of prizes or whatever, I'm still keen to do a challenge because I think it could just be good for the platform if everyone is motivated and having fun
Yeah, I would
designing
love
and
to.
sharing on the platform every day.
Yeah, I would love to do like if it were like a UI challenge, I would love to do a 30-day daily UI challenge. It'll be
Oh, really?
fun. Yeah.
You'd go back to UI, would you?
Yeah,
Start
yeah,
doing
yeah,
some UI.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
I would love to.
oh
It's
man.
been a while.
Well, I want to do it just for that then. I want to see your UI every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, so yeah, the challenges, competitions, more of that to come potentially. Again, I deviated from funding, but yeah, currently looking to raise a little small amount, trying to keep it in the community. I think I've probably said it a lot before. I can't remember how many times I've said it on Overlay, but I'm really keen for layers to be owned by the community, basically. So in the long run, I would love for just as many members as possible to own a chunk of layers.
Yeah.
So if layers has 1 million shares, basically imagine if layers was public and you could just buy it.
Yeah.
It'll probably always be private because going public requires X revenue, I think, or whatever.
Yeah.
But getting the community involved so much that they can invest personally, and as layers grow, they also get a return, or they can buy more shares, sell more shares. So I guess this first funding session is a step towards that. It's also just a little help for me because I'm still bootstrapping this thing, and it's getting a bit tight. So getting some help and support that way would be very helpful on my part.
In your
so
go ahead.
No, you go.
So in your founder journey so far, has it been like you imagined it would be?
All the hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Is it exactly how you imagined?
Yeah.
And yeah, it has been very good. It still follows a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
That I experienced previously in my career.
Yeah.
Which is primarily client work. But I'd say much less amplitude, if that's the right way of phrasing it. And I think definitely as it's gone on and the money has gotten smaller, or the savings have gotten smaller, it has become a bit more stressful. So that isn't helping, and I don't necessarily want to be stressed by layers, because it really is a dream job in so many ways to design and build a product that is used by people. Like, this is something I've wanted to do my whole life, right? And if I start not liking it or not enjoying it, I wouldn't necessarily blame layers or the product or the community. I blame something else. There must be something else that's causing that, right? So currently it is the bootstrapping, the money dwindling.
I think that's a very healthy way of thinking about it, and also like a very, very healthy way of keeping the joy alive in the product, right? Or in building the product. It will be very easy to emotionally connect like the hardship you're personally going through with the product, and then like mix them together, and then basically kill your own.
It's causing me so much pain. I'm just going to shut it all down, Reijo. I'm going to shut it all down.
Yeah, exactly. C'est la vie.
Screw everyone. I was doing it for money. I have no money. No. Like, whatever happens, I'm going to keep it going no matter what. Because why would I take it down? I'll just have to figure something out to pay the server costs.
What has been most surprising about the journey so far?
I'll never get tired of the support. The support is very, I obviously knew that people wanted something like this because everyone's been complaining about it for years. But I have to say it is really nice getting messages of support and be like, "Oh, this is great. Yeah, I'm using it. Keep it up." They do really help.
100%. 100%.
And I think basically it's taught me more recently that if you ever come across anyone's design work and you like it or you love it, tell them. Literally just tell them. Like, always try and give a compliment a day, and you'll make someone's day probably, and you'll also feel better yourself. I mean, there's they say there's no such thing as selfless good deed. Like don't give it to make yourself feel better necessarily, but do it just because that's what you were thinking, right? I think if you're positive that way, you might be a bit more positive internally as well. It might make your day a bit better.
I totally agree with that.
So yeah, it goes without saying, if you do find something that you love, tell them. Spend a bit of effort finding them or whatever, messaging them saying this is great, love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of the whole journey, this is just another one of those challenges to overcome, and I've no doubt we can overcome it easy.
Yeah. Like it will be. I think it will be. It would be surprising, to me at least, if like bootstrapping a company, bootstrapping a product of this nature wouldn't come with hardships of some sort.
Yeah, the only thing I would say in hindsight, if you are doing something similar, I wouldn't jump into it as early as I did. I think I jumped into it because I was a bit drained from doing client work for so long. Well,
Yeah.
for so long, 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But realistically, I probably should have done it a bit longer and waited for layers to be a bit more profitable is the wrong word, generating a bit more revenue. So like if I
it's paying for itself.
Yeah. If I was still working now, for example, but then again, would it be possible to get it to this stage?
Right.
Because it's quite a bit of work as well. Like it might be a bit more stressful having to moonlight more each day. So difficult to say, I guess. But
yeah. Like I understand what you mean. It would be like it's a tricky thing to evaluate that in hindsight. Yeah, you could have collected more savings, could have focused more on the income of the company, etc. But how much would the product be behind from the point that it is now if you had done that? And clearly clearly by the deployment schedule, you've been doing a lot of work that isn't even building the product, right? You've been doing a lot of other stuff that goes around it. So that's also something that needs to be done. And if you were to do another job at the same time as well, like being a full-time dev or doing freelance, that would be stressful.
Yeah, definitely full time. But if I was to do it again, or if I was to give any sort of advice or recommendation, I would say, yeah, have some sort of freelance gig that you can do a day a week, 2 days a week.
Yeah,
keeps the lights on, pays the bills, etc. And then the other 3 days, even weekends, if you're passionate, you can focus on the side project.
That's a sensible thing to do, I think. do as we say, not as we do.
But sensible is overrated, right?
Fucking
dive straight in. Worry about it later.
Yeah.
That's future Liam's problem.
Yeah.
But what else is with layers? So the annotations have gone live, and I guess one of the next things I'm hoping to get live will be this portfolio feature. So
nice.
You'll be able to use your profile as your portfolio, but a bit more personable, by basically removing all the layers UI, removing everything that's related to layers interactivity, so all the actions like liking, commenting, that sort of stuff. It will just show your profile, your avatar, full name, your bio, your location, etc. And then it will just show your work. And clicking on your work again, it will just show the work itself, the title and description.
Can we talk a bit about portfolios? What is your take on design portfolios in general? What do you think about them? How do you think? What is the right way to approach them?
Hmm. I think Dan Petty says it best in a lot of ways. For months now, he's been giving feedback on a lot of people's portfolios, and he gives some very great feedback. But also in a episode of Rob Hope's podcast, Yo, he also did a podcast with Dan, and he basically took him through building a portfolio. Like, if you were to design a portfolio now, Dan, what would you do? How would you design it? And just verbally describe it with me.
Okay.
Verbally describe it to me. And on the screen, Rob edits in the portfolio design.
Okay.
And yeah, it's really great. But I check out that podcast. But I also agree with everything Dan says. Like, portfolios are great, and it's great to have them. So I wouldn't necessarily avoid having one. That said, you don't necessarily need one if you're sharing your work elsewhere. But making it clear who you are, what you do, if you're available, how available you are, making sure your work appears above the fold, so you can see it immediately when you open the page. Just basically, the portfolio needs to be your work first and foremost. Like, don't beat around the bush with other content. Just get your work straight up in the browser's or the person viewing the site's face, which I think by default Layers does well, right? If you go on someone's profile,
that's true.
The work is immediately there. You can immediately start browsing someone's work. You also see their name. I guess you also see if they're available or not. There's a message button, which is good. The only thing that might be missing is what their title is, but I guess you also have skills, so you can kind of see what they do. But skills might be a bit too much. You might just want a role or something. But yeah, they're not completely necessary. Great to have, but if you don't have one, have one on a platform like Layers. Like, just post your work on Layers. Like, clients will want to see your work. And if they can see your work before contacting you, I mean, they probably won't contact you unless they can see your work, right?
That's true. That's true. I feel like it's it's a good, cheap way of doing it. So
you don't have a portfolio, right? Do you?
No.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so you just use the
Layers and Dribble,
the platforms.
Yeah, but I also feel like if I were to have a portfolio, which I'm putting together like a concept of what the portfolio could be. I don't want it to be just designed by numbers. Like, I'm not interested in what people would expect a portfolio to be like. Like, put your work above the fold. Clearly state your name. I don't care about that. Like, this is my portfolio. I'll do whatever the fuck I want.
Yes.
I don't care about design by numbers. I feel like if I'm gonna make a portfolio for myself, I'm gonna do it in a way that feels true to me. Like, I'm gonna do the things I want to do. If you don't like it, that's my portfolio. I don't care. It's not it's not a client product. Like, your opinion doesn't even, like, that's not even in the realm of concern. It should be something that you like, and if the hiring manager finds it difficult to read, tough shit. That's something that I mean.
It should be Yeah, so you're seeing it more as a labor of love. It's an expression of who you are
I
in a
feel
lot of
like that's
ways.
the. I feel like that is one of the few places you can be creatively honest. Like you can, when you do
Mm,
client work, you cannot be totally creatively honest. You cannot sort of wear your heart on your sleeve. A lot you can, and in some ways, but not fully. When you do your portfolio, which is something, it's almost like a vehicle of creativity that is understood. That is widely understood. So that's like a that's something that you can do that's true to you without any sort of
mm.
shackles around it.
So do you think the portfolio should demonstrate your skills and prowess more than the actual work
I
itself?
feel like it. No, I feel like it should be personal. I feel like it
Mm,
should be uh, because I'm a product designer. There's a lot of product designers out there. I can do product design. There's a lot of people who can do product design.
mm,
We can probably do a lot of similar work uh, based on experience. What I'm interested in the portfolio is understanding. Okay, this is what the person does. Like this is what their profession is. But I'm more interested in understanding what their tastes are like. Like
mm.
express to me what your personal taste is. In
That's
every
true.
which way you find it applicable to the portfolio.
That's true. Which will probably be difficult to replicate in a layers portfolio,
Yeah, I don't
let's
think you
say.
can do it. I feel like it has to be. You have to. That I feel like that sort of thing has to start from an empty canvas.
Mm,
Otherwise, you're already guiding yourself through some sort of like you're already narrowing down the options that you have.
yeah, very, very true. Do you have any, off the top of your head, do you know any portfolios that you like, that you enjoy, that you've remembered, or no?
Not off the top of my head, but I probably have some bookmarked. I feel like the best kind of portfolios are ones that surprise in some way. Because um, there's a lot of rules that you get accustomed to when looking at portfolios or even just browsing internet. There's like, okay, navigation goes on the top right. Okay, your logo or name goes on the top left. Your
Mm,
title goes in the middle, etc., etc. But I
yeah,
feel like portfolios that uh, either don't adhere to those rules or do something different with them, I feel like are most interesting.
yeah. I'm gonna do something a little different now, if I can. You know why we started recording videos in the first place, Ray?
Because of the screen share?
So we could share the flipping screen.
Nice.
This is one of my favorite sites. I think it's actually changed a little.
Oh,
Claudio.
this is
Oh, so nice
yes.
in every way.
This is beautiful.
The work is just huge,
Yeah.
massive,
Yeah.
right in your face. Um, but also, if you look
Like
closer, you see the
yeah,
details,
yeah, like
right? So
gorgeous assets.
the work is yeah, the work is first and
Yeah.
foremost, and then if you want to go into the actual details,
Yeah.
you click into them. Um, but this is an example of
This is what
one
I
of
like.
my favorite
Yeah.
portfolios.
It still feels like I feel like there's a balance between there is some like an underlying grid or underlying guides that it's adhering to, but at the same time it
Mm.
feels fresh as well. Like cleanly designed. Like no bullshit, cleanly designed. That's what it feels like.
So clean, but I just love that the work is so big, and that's what it should be,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're a designer, you should be wanna showing off your work.
There's a
Um,
there's a there's a space for that for sure. And not only is he showing the work in just from a size perspective? It takes up a lot of the real estate on the screen. The assets themselves are good, like the things that he's using in those places are good. Also, so many talks.
Mate, he's a veteran. He's a legend.
Yeah, he's a veteran. Yeah. This is.
I mean that in the experience way, Claudio.
but this is.
Look at that. Look at that.
This is
fine.
like this is. If I had to describe what this portfolio feels like, it feels like a Swiss Army knife of portfolios. Like I could feel like he could use this for the next 40 years.
A Swiss Army knife. Yeah. I mean, it's slightly changed since I last went on it. But yeah, it still holds up. I think it's more. It seems to be more in line with the work he's done for Opal.
Yeah.
Design wise.
Yeah.
With these this overlaying nav and big background images. But Opal, oh man, what a beautiful site. Keen to try it as well. I've not tried it yet. Well, I don't own one, but I'm keen to buy one. Yeah, the camera.
Yeah. Maybe that'll solve our phone camera business problems. But just having
the positioning problem, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the reviews have been quite. I mean, this is just gorgeous, man. The reviews have been quite mixed, but I'd be keen to try it myself.
Yeah.
But this is just some crazy 3D. Love it. Yeah, so gorgeous.
Yeah, this is nice. This is just it's clean. It's clean.
So clean.
And that I think that's a difficult thing to achieve because you have to be very how do you say it? Like cruel. You have to cut elements very easily, you know? You design, but you have to take things away cruelly to make it this clean.
Yes, design is about taking things away, not adding.
Yeah.
Very similar to coding, really.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, love Claudio's work. I kind of want to do more now. Come on, Ray, you must know one off the top of your head. Who's your favorite 3D artist? Doesn't have to be 3D.
Oh, let's check. A good example is Peter Tarka.
Peter Tarka.
Yes, I think his portfolio does the exact same thing that in the sense that what Claudio's does.
Audio.
Look, it's right in your face.
Work is bam in your face.
Bam, and you can scroll and it keeps going.
See, yeah, I mean, God, so nice.
It's like getting hit in the face, but in a very pleasant way.
Yeah, you wanna make a great first impression, right? And it needs to be lasting.
Yeah,
like, and it's also quite like a novel browsing method. Just having the
right,
having the work dead center. Who cares if it overlaps?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
And he doesn't spend time on himself. He goes straight into the work. Like, bam, this is what I do. Here you go. This is like 8 other examples of what I do. They're all fucking great. Enjoy.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Because it's true. Like he does amazingly great work. And that's
what would you say to designers getting into the industry then that don't have this body of work? What do they do, Ray? Make it up.
Make it up. If you have to make some of it up.
Come up with some briefs, concepts.
Yeah.
Just
you have
smash them out.
You have to make some of it up, I think. If you don't have that body of work, just to show what you're capable of, and then start rolling client work into the instead of spec work, instead of made up work. I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's the same, right? You don't really have a choice. You have to
You
you
have
have
to
to
make
show
it up.
something,
Yeah.
and if it's not from clients, it has to
Yeah.
be from
I'm like
your imagination.
Yeah,
You have
yeah,
to
for sure.
think,
I mean
or maybe design for the work you want, right? The
Yeah.
companies you want to work for. I think a lot of people tend to maybe do like redesigns, especially when it comes to UI product design. They'll like reimagine what they want YouTube to be, which is an idea. Oh my, this is that was quite explicit. But yeah, probably maybe not the best.
I feel yeah, redesigns are an idea, but at the same time, they're like, fuck, they've been done so many times that I feel like if you're at like the 0 point, if you're at the starting point, and you get to choose either I redesign YouTube, or I come up with a novel idea and redesign that, it seems to me like a stupidly simple choice. Like, yeah, you design your own thing, like come up with your own thing, commit to it fully, and then that'll be your sort of made up work that you can use. And I'm at that exact same point, because a lot of the product design work I do, I cannot show. Like when I want to build a product design portfolio now, I need to make up a lot of work, because I cannot show what the things I've done.
Yep. Yes. Very true.
So I'm in the same shit.
So yeah, if Reijo's doing it, you do it. All right. Everyone do what Reijo does. That is.
That's
That
not
is the
legally
advice.
binding.
We're gonna. I think. Yeah. I think we'll probably end it on that note.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need
very productive
to...
podcast this one.
Yes, we need to start using the screen more, man. I completely forgot about it. Like, why haven't we been using it? Especially for layers updates. Oh man.
That's true.
But
True. We keep forgetting.
Because we always had ideas of potentially going through actual layers and stuff like that. So
who uses light mode?
Some people, Ro. I'm just trying to be trying to design for the light mode people out there, you know.
Yeah, okay.
It's weird though, because I do use dark mode system preferences, but for layers, I think maybe because a lot of the work that is posted on layers currently is light.
You think it looks better light?
I think so. Maybe it looks a little less suffocated.
Well,
but this is this is a new annotation feature.
Nice.
That we, in the session that we had yesterday, Significa leaving
a
lot of helpful feedback.
Were they roasting people, or were they polite?
What do you think, Ray? Oh man, it would be fun to have a roast session though, no? Oh man. That does sound up my alley.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then everyone can get involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have a roasting session one day.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whoever leaves the best roast
gets a medal.
Gets a t-shirt. Chief Layers Roaster.
That's a good segue into merch. Have any merch planned for Layers?
I'd love to have some merch. Yeah, I've played around with Printful and Shopify, there is something that exists, and I would love just to have merch in general, so people could support layers that way.
Yeah.
So maybe it will happen eventually. I don't think it's necessarily a
Priority.
Priority or a profitable venture.
It's true.
But I think
that's the honest answer.
same. Well, when it comes to time and prioritizing what I'm going to do, like it would be another thing that I wouldn't necessarily get any sort of income initially. But regardless, it's similar to an app. An app requires a lot of work, and I'm not sure if the return, if it'd be sustainable. But I'd still love to have one. It'd be fun, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we shall end it there. Again, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or feedback for either of us here, Ray or I, we've got an email, which is overlay@layers.to. That's overlay@layers.to. Love to have questions, feedback. Questions would be great. We'll answer them in the podcast. Or even if you want us to give some feedback on your layer, we could do that, Ray.
Submit it.
Live feedback or recorded feedback.
Yeah,
that'd be fun. So Overlayers on every podcast platform now, podcast service. So whatever app you use, whatever service you use, if you could subscribe, rate and review, that'd be extremely helpful. And I'm Liam P. McCabe on X.
And I'm Reijo Writes on X.
And that is episode 6. Thanks, guys. Ciao.